ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
What's up, everyone? How are we doing? What a week it's been. Orange County got a good victory this past weekend over the defending USL Championship champions, Colorado Springs. Hey, my Tottenham lifted the Europa Cup this past week. Larry's got some good news on his side for the English soccer stuff. I don't know. Brad probably is still wallowing in misery with his Everton. But hey, this will be a fun episode. We're all in a good mood. So let's get this show started. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And let's go through the list of who's helping me out for this episode. First, we've got Mr. Brad, the Everton fan. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain where Everton ended up in the table because the Moisaya, is bringing us back up again.
All right. Simple and sweet from Brad. And just quickly, Orange County-wise, how are you feeling?
Let's see. If it worked last week, let's do it again.
Well, what? Not yet. Not yet. We got to wait to do it together. Maybe even Larry can join us. I don't know if he even has that. Speaking of Larry, there's Larry, the bearded one himself, a Sunderland supporter. Very rare to see those around. He's happy about that. Also, I think happy about Orange County. How are you doing, Larry?
You know what? Saturday was quite possibly the best morning and evening of the entire year so far. My Black Cats got promoted back up to the Prem. And Orange County Soccer Club got back on the winning trail with just a really, really nice performance all the way around. Really enjoyed watching both games. Had fun. It was just a great day Saturday. And no, I do not have a bottle of Malort because I have class.
Oh, so we'll meet up, Larry, because I know we're not far from each other. I have an extra bottle for you. So when we start doing this as a group, you'll be ready for it. You'll be able to partake. Yeah. Brad looks like he might need to reload his bottle. One other thing, again, amazing day Saturday soccer for me with Orange County's victory. Hey, my son's team, we did a parents versus kids match, and the parents won, obviously. So that was fun as well. Let's talk about what everyone wants to hear, though, and that is Orange County Soccer Club. They came out victorious in a really good way against the defending champs, Colorado Springs Switchbacks. You know, we've been talking about it, or at least I was talking about it in recent episodes, that I hadn't been as down on this team as some others. I felt like this team has been decent, just not finishing. They finished in this match. They look good in this match. A few good opportunities, of some quality goals, some good-looking goals. Let's get into this. I'm going to go to you first, Larry. What were your thoughts on this match? And by the way, did you stand next to the Colorado Springs keeper? And do you know how tall he is?
He's a monster. Dude's got to be 6'7", 6'8". He's absolutely huge. You know, at the start of this game, but look at me running. Look, there I go. Boy, I do that well. Colorado Springs was beating the ever-loving out of our team. It was 4 fouls in the first 5 minutes, 6 fouls in the first 8 minutes, and then 7 in 22 minutes. It was absolutely insane how many times our players were getting knocked on their backsides. And the ref wasn't giving any cards. He didn't start giving cards till way later. So I was a little bit concerned. But after about that 20-minute mark, I just felt like And I posted a video on Instagram saying, you know what, these guys are just beating the crap out of us. And we need to be tougher. Our boys need to be tougher out there. And I kind of doubt that they were listening to me, but it seemed that they started to not let themselves get pushed around quite so much and really started to take over the game about that point. We didn't have the possession. They obviously had the lion's share of possession. But overall, I mean, some really great finishes from Haggart and from Warren from Dunbar. Some great assists from Benalcazar and from Traeger. Just a solid performance all the way around. I really enjoyed watching our boys.
So a couple things here. If you don't watch our show live, just a reminder, we are live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook. You can watch us at wherever you prefer out of those methods. You missed a couple things. You missed the video that Larry was referencing of him running, which is always fun to watch Larry running on the sidelines to try and catch up to the celebrations.
Hey, fat guy running, baby. That's me.
You also missed Brad and I with quizzical looks when our producer Andy was showing the highlights here, and we were trying to figure out what was going on those highlights. Hey, if you want to know why we were puzzled, you'll have to check it out. There are video replays also on Spotify shortly after we wrap up the episodes. Let's get back into this.
And when Ray says 8 o'clock, that's loosely. It could be 8:02, could be 8:04, could be 8:03.
But I recommend you get onto the show at 8 o'clock or be here at 8 o'clock so you don't miss the great intros we always have. Let's get back into this match, though. I'm going to go to you, Brad. Out of the 3 goals for Orange County, which one did you like the most?
Yeah, definitely the one that's up for goal of the week with a howitzer of the leg that just cruised in, just swiftly as if it was coasting on the water. Mr. Mo War. Man, if he doesn't win goal of the week, I think it's truly a popularity contest. It was such a good goal. Haggart played absolutely phenomenal. Even though the team didn't have the lion's share of the ball, the team did have the most shots in the game. And finally, making our own luck, Dunbar with a bicycle kick. I mean, could you call it a bicycle kick? Almost kind of like one. And the team truly just, boated over to victory there. And look, last week I said quality over quantity, and we got quality this week. We had some great touches, some good finishes, and if it means drinking a shot of Malort on every single show moving forward, if the results hold, then let's get I don't even know if there's a catchphrase. Let's get Tire Fire in.
Tire Fire. All right. I love it. And for those that don't know, Brad and his crew up in Reno are the ones that introduced us Orange County fans to this stuff called Malort. If you haven't tried it, try it. It is an experience. Hey, really quick, before we talk more about this match, I just had a random question that come up, and I want to ask it of you two before we get, so I don't forget the question. I'll go to you first, Larry. You look at all the new players that were brought in for Orange County on the attack side, Tristan Traeger, Liam McKinnon, but I feel like sneakily the player that came up from NISA in Mo War has been probably the more productive of all the attacking additions. What are your thoughts, Larry?
I don't disagree. He doesn't have as big a numbers as the other players, but he is tied for the team lead in goals with 2, along with Liam. But the guy's only taken 4 shots. 3 of them on target. 2 of them he's put into the net. And that is in limited play time. I mean, he's not out on the pitch for 60, 70, 80 minutes a game. I mean, I think he's had, 1 or 2 starts maybe? All of his goals have come late, 88-minute plus. But this kid is a difference maker. He is the super sub off the bench. And man, he's just fun to watch. He's got this smile that's infectious, and he's just a really nice guy. And he's scoring goals for us. So I don't know what it's going to take to get him into the lineup more, but you've got a lot of firepower up there in the front. And I would like to point something out. This is, of course, not a knock at all on Liam McKinnon, but Liam on Saturday was very, very minimal factor in this game. And we still came out and really took it to a very solid Colorado Springs team. So just imagine if Traeger's playing at the top of his game and Liam's at the top of his game, and we get Zubac back healthy. Again, this is going to be one of the scariest teams in USL Championship moving forward. And then in the 75th minute, you bring Mohamedou War in to, blast a banger from 25 yards out. That's a team that people better pay a lot of attention to, especially those guys up in Monterey this weekend. They should be terrified. I see you, Noah.
We'll talk about Monterey Bay in just a little bit, but we got to wrap up our talk about this match. Brad, let me ask you this. Unfortunately, no shutout again for Orange County. It's now, I don't know how many matches we've had this season, but no shutouts on the season.
13
is there concern or are we okay with, if we can score 3 goals a match, then we don't need to worry about shutouts?
I mean, if you score 3 goals a match and you're only letting in 1 or 2, you're going to win more games than you lose, believe it or not. Madden philosophy there. Look, we've always said Orange County's defense has been good, but we've been making a lot of silly mistakes this year. We've had 1 game now where we scored 3 goals, but we're finally seeing a little bit of that offensive production we were expecting. Let's hope it just kind of holds up moving forward.
Can I say something to that, Ray, before we
move Larry.
on?
Go for it.
Here's the question, though, Brad. How many goals have we scored so far this year?
I feel like you got an answer for me on that, Larry.
I had the number in my head, and I suddenly forgot. It's like 12, 13. It's not a lot. We had 3 on Saturday. We had 4 on opening night. So did this just happen to be a night where we scored some goals? Or are we truly going to start seeing that offensive production that all of us have wanted to see since the beginning of the season?
I feel like
let me jump on really quick.
Question for the next game.
Yeah, I want to answer you, Larry, or get the correct goal total for us. According to FBref.com, this is, I believe, probably just the USL Championship. We have 11 goals, and we've had some matches with a lot of goals. So that seems like a pretty low number to have. But, hey, who knows? Any players that stood out from you, and we'll just do this a quick answer. Who stood out for you, and give us a brief description why, Larry.
Chris Haggart was just on top of his game from the minute the ball kicked off. He was everywhere. He was making the passes. He was coming up big on corner kicks. He was coming up big on possession and control. And when he did score that goal, that ball came forward on the quick restart from Benalcazar. Tristan got it down there, down there towards the end line, and I could hear, because I was right there. I was 8 feet away from Tristan when he had the ball. I could hear Haggart just screaming, "Tristan, Tristan, Tristan!" And I looked up, and there he is, and Tristan found him, and he just left-footed slotted that into the bottom corner, and it was absolutely spot on where it needed to be. And if you look at the USL Championship ratings for the weekend, Chris Haggart had the highest rating in the league for the day. I think it was a 94 or a 98, something like that. So yeah, Chris was absolutely fantastic from first whistle until he left the pitch.
And I feel like Haggart's been, wanting some play time. I think he's been wanting to get some starts, and he's been unfortunately coming off the bench as of late. So I think this opportunity for him, he's proven that he needs the play time and he needs to start for Coach Danny Stone. Brad, anyone else that stood out from you in this match or for you in this match?
Yeah, Cameron Dunbar. He had a wonderful goal himself, but on top of that, a hockey assist where he was the second person to touch the ball before the player shoots the ball, so he doesn't get the assist. But look, Dunbar is the person that we have been talking all last season. We expect so much out of, and we saw a little bit of what we expect out of him last Saturday.
I just want to try and find out, how do you pull off a bicycle flick goal on EA FC? I want to try and figure out that move, because that's pretty much what Dunbar did there, was like a bicycle flick. It wasn't really a bicycle kick because there wasn't power behind it. He just sort of bicycle flicked it over his shoulder into the open part of the goal, which was really cool to see. I like seeing that, and Dunbar needed to see that. He needs more balls hitting the back of the net. Before we move on, I want to make sure to remind everyone, if you like this show or if you listen to the show, you should also follow us, like us, and all that, share stuff on our social medias, which include Instagram, X, Facebook, wherever you like to follow us, or you haven't followed us yet. Look for us there, follow us, like our post, share our post. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to our podcasts. And hey, on YouTube or wherever, so you can find out when we're going live, even though I've told you 8:00 every Tuesday, Pacific time. Let's move on and talk about this upcoming match for Orange County, an important match for them this coming weekend. And that's going to be a match against, is it Monterey Bay in the second? Is it the second match of the Jägermeister Cup?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So this will be very important. This will be very important for Orange County. We've talked about it in the background. Only 2 teams are guaranteed to move on from the group. You have to finish 1 or 2 to move on, and then there's some random weird thing the USL is doing to get 2 wildcard teams, which sort of is crappy. But we'll get into that later. We've got someone to help us out with this discussion because obviously Brad, myself, and Larry, we're not experts on Monterey Bay. We need a scouting report on them so we can pass it on to the players at OCSC. And so we welcome on Noah Telford to our show. He's an expert of Monterey Bay. Noah, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we're glad we could have you onto the episode here. Talk to us about Monterey Bay the season. I think we were looking at sort of the win-loss draw stats, and early on they looked great from Monterey Bay. As of late, it hasn't looked as good. What are the fans looking at with the team? What's maybe the problem that's going on with Monterey Bay that's restricting them from getting those victories they were getting early on in the season?
Yeah, and a real quick, I see Carlos in the chat. Thanks, Carlos. But yeah, more recently, it's been the fact we can't score goals again. That was the case last season, at least down the stretch. Defensively, we're still fairly sound. I mean, we only allowed 2 goals to Louisville last time out, of course. But yeah, at the moment, I kind of feel like we're really over-reliant on the long ball at the moment. Now, we do have players out. We have probably our 2 most influential players so far this season in Soyberg and Nalati. They've been out for some time with injuries, not specified. That's just lower body, but those are our 2 most important players. And the fact that we don't have them, it's really showing. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like we've really adjusted in any aspect, unfortunately. So that's kind of where we stand at the moment. Of course, the most recent run of form has really dipped. And obviously, I think that the high of the season so far has really been that 3-0 win away against you guys. But yeah, that's where things stand at the moment.
What are your thoughts, or what are you hearing from the fans regarding the Jägermeister Cup? Is that something that's sort of just second thought for the fans in Monterey, or are they just as excited about that as they are the regular season for USL? And do you expect them to be putting out a strong team also?
Yeah, I think, the fans, I think it's a mixed bag, honestly. Some people are kind of like, well, it's just extra games we have to play, kind of similar to the Open Cup, at least. Personally, I value the Open Cup a little more than the USL Jägermeister Cup. At the same time, it is a chance to win, some hardware, of course. But I think most fans will, maybe a majority of the fans will say that it's a thing that they've been looking forward to, just because the way we started, at least, there was kind of conversations between some of us fans where it was like, we may have a real shot at winning this thing potentially, or going far at least, potentially getting out of the group, because we have, of course, 2 other matches against USL League One opposition, although not to say that those are easy teams, but in any way, of course, Spokane and Velocity are very good. AV Alta are pretty solid. But, yeah, that's a general consensus I get from the fans on the USL Jägermeister Cup, is that it's kind of in between on both sides.
So, Noah, let me ask you this. Orange County Soccer Club has a lot of fans who are just casuals, and they probably don't even know what the hell the Jägermeister Cup is. And in talking about it and, the feelings about the Jägermeister Cup, Do you find that's the case with some Monterey Bay fans? They don't even they know there's a game this weekend. They know that Orange County Soccer Club's coming to town, but do they think that it's just another USL Championship game, or do they actually know and understand that it's a Jägermeister Cup game? Because I was talking to some people at the stadium on Saturday, and they had no clue. They didn't even know what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, I think most people don't really know, honestly. I don't think most people know what the Open Cup is as well, I'll be honest. I think most people who come to our games as well are, not really even season ticket holders. We have these flash sale deals, etc., and that does draw a decent amount of people, especially for the north side section, which is, probably the cheapest tickets in terms of if you want to be sideline, kind of, sort of, then it's a good seat. But really, I don't think a whole lot of people know what the USL Jägermeister Cup is. And I think this goes to show the USL in general, sometimes I feel, but also it's upon the club, even more so I think, that the community outreach, especially with Monterey Bay FC, has not been that great since the inception of the club. So if people don't know what it is, then they're probably not going to come. On top of that, it's a weekday. People are just not as willing to come out. Or, excuse me, it's not a weekday. It's on the weekend. I'm thinking of the Spokane match. But yeah, I think most people don't really know what it is.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I want to ask you about one of your players in particular, your lead scorer, Paul. Is it Gindery or Gindery? How do you say his last name?
Yeah, it's a little weird because he has Paul Gindiri. I think that's probably how you pronounce it.
Okay.
He has Paul Gindiri on the back, but we just call him Elijah Paul. So okay. I don't know if it's a family sort of thing. But yeah, players, they have their preferred name on the back of their jerseys, of course.
Yeah. So it looks like 4 goals, 2 assists on the season, 11 starts, 1 game coming in off of a substitution. 15 shots overall, 15 shots on goal. All of his shots on goal have scored. That's a pretty impressive stat. What is it that is setting him apart from others in the league this year?
I just think his presence, his work rate is really just excellent. Every time I see us pressing, I notice him. Every time we try and play a long ball, it's to him. His movement is very, very good in and around the 18. Of course, he got 3 goal contributions last time out against you guys, which was very impressive because a lot of us fans didn't know what we would expect from some of these players, and I don't think we expected that from Elijah Paul at all. But at the same time, I think in the recent weeks, at least, he's gotten a little isolated in terms of his service. Again, we've been playing a lot of long balls to him, which for the frame he has, I get it, I understand it, but he just doesn't have a whole lot of help in that sense of the world now. He did score about 3 weeks ago against Miami, so it's been a bit, and then before that, it was a little bit before he scored as well. So he's really efficient. You get the ball into him. He's there, typically, and he's just kind of your typical number, your typical center forward in terms of the frame that you have.
So, no, I got a couple more for you. So, obviously, last time we played, you got to visit Orange County, 3-0 win for Monterey Bay. Since then, I believe, 1 or 2 victories within normal league play. What's kind of changed with Monterey's possession? I know you alluded to kind of goals have gone down, but what's the, I guess, under the hood reason for that? Is it just less shots, unlucky like we were earlier in the season? What do you think?
I think it's got to be the shots on target. You look at the fact that against Phoenix we had about 55% of the possession. We had 0 shots on target that match. So I don't know if it's an unwillingness to shoot. I don't know if teams are finding us out, because my main concern has always been what happens when we come up against a team that is defensively sound or not in the early stages of figuring out how their defense looks, their back line looks, their midfield, et cetera, the defensive midfield. And when we came up against a team like New Mexico, let's say, who are very defensively sound. It really kind of went awry, and we just didn't create a lot. It's another match where I believe we had 0 shots on target. So really, in the end, just our shots on target have really just dropped. We're still shooting some, from outside the box and all, but we just haven't been able to put anything on target. And I think that's a combination of, again, teams figuring us out and us coming up against, some more defensively sound sides.
Awesome. No, I know you got to, like I said, make the trip down to Orange County. Were you able to meet up with the supporters ahead of time?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Were you able to, I know I've already said twice this episode, my lord, but, Jägermeister is a great sponsor and whatever, but they're nothing, get my lord to sponsor something.
Yeah.
Something. Did you get to try this?
Unfortunately, I am not 21 years old yet, so I couldn't. But at the same time, I do go to DePaul University, or I was going to DePaul University. I'm in a gap year currently, but of course that's Chicago, and Chicago is very famous for their Malort. So I go back in the fall to DePaul. Most certainly, when I turn 21 in February of 2026, I'll probably have a shot of Malort, my first alcoholic beverage.
Get yourself.
No, don't start there. Don't start there, Noah.
Oh no,
I'm in Chicago.
Well, I was going to say, you got to do the challenge, though. No, you got to do the challenge, which is a shot of Malort and then immediately ask for a second and finish that second shot. That is the Malort challenge. I learned this when I was in Missouri on vacation. The bartender at a bar in Branson said, that's what you got to do with Malort. Take your first shot and immediately request a second, and you have to actually take that second shot as well, which that's the hard part. You can ask for the second, but your body will freeze up and you will not want to lift that shot glass for that second shot typically.
I've had some of it before, which is a plum brandy, but
well, let's talk about our predictions for this match. So we like to do score predictions, and you're welcome to join us on this, Noah. Obviously, you're a Monterey Bay supporter, so you might be a little skewed on your prediction, and we probably are skewed on our prediction. But go ahead and think of what your prediction will be. I'm going to go to Brad first. What's your prediction for this match, Brad?
Yeah, I would like to think that this will be a very competitive game. It'll be 2-2 going to penalties, and, anybody can win in penalties, so I'll take a cop-out answer there. Sorry, Chris in the green room.
Awesome. Larry, your prediction.
What the hell was that, Brett? That's just come on, man. Step up. 3-1 Orange County. And Noah, next time you talk to Super Van Dan, tell him right here, Sunderland, baby, we are coming for Newcastle in the Prem next season.
I'll advise him against watching this later on Watchback. No, I'm just kidding.
Noah, do you have a prediction for us?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go 2-1. Hopeful to say the least to us. In terms of goal scorers, I'll go Malongo. Haven't seen him score in quite a bit, but he's a very dynamic winger for us. Assuming he plays, of course, because he did start in the weekend against Louisville. But in terms of a second, I'll go a little. Off the beaten path per se. I'll go Wesley Fonguk on a header, central defensive midfielder. But I'm not confident in it, to say the least. But I gotta back us, of course.
So my prediction, and I'm glad that Dylan's not here because Dylan would be very frustrated with my prediction. But we did this prediction last week, along with a shot of the good stuff. Which, Brad, if you're now ready for this, and Larry, we'll get you your bottle soon.
I have bourbon. I'm good.
We're going to go with
invisible glass with me.
We're going to go with a prediction: 5-0 Monterey Bay. That is my prediction for this match. Ready, Brad? Here we go. And if y'all don't know,
did y'all see
a double
reaction in the green room?
I didn't, but we'll ask him about that. We'll let him know why I did that. Really quick before we bring in our next guest, I do want to let Noah give a chance to just share for anyone that wants to learn more about Monterey Bay or follow him or hear from him. Where do they go, Noah?
You can go to MBFC _discussion on Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram. I do have a Twitter, but I'm not very active on there, to be honest, anymore. So just Instagram for the time being for me.
Awesome. Well, Noah, thank you so much for joining us and having a good time with us. Best of luck for your team, Monterey Bay, the rest of the season, but not this weekend.
Likewise, and thank you guys.
Awesome. Noah, great to have fellow coverers of USL championship teams. I know you love when I make up words, Brad. If Dylan was here, he would have been giving me a hard time on that. But we're going to move right along. We're going to bring on our next guest. Our next guest had a great match this past weekend for Orange County Soccer Club in their 3-1 victory over the defending champs, Colorado Springs. And that is, of course, Chris Hagart. Chris, welcome back to our show.
Hi, guys. Yeah, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we love Larry was watching you in the green room and watching your reactions to some of the stuff. I guess you had some reaction to either my prediction or what we were drinking or what I was drinking. What was the reaction to? Was it the score prediction?
Yeah, your score prediction was a bit crazy, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I started this years ago, and somehow I just went with a random weird prediction like that, and we went on like some good runs. So anytime we're struggling, I jump back onto that train and say, hey, let's do that prediction. I did it last episode. That was the first time I think I did it this season. And of course, we came out with a 3-1 victory, so I had to keep it going. Unfortunately, we also did a drink of, I don't know, have you heard of Malort?
No, what is that?
It is a liqueur that tastes like a burning flip-flop, just so you know, like a beach fire burning flip-flop. But the supporters group, County Coalition, they adopted the tradition of doing a shot of Malort from the Reno team that Brad was a fan of. I guess it's supposed to represent we will suffer in the parking lot so that the team doesn't suffer on the pitch or something like that.
So just like you with your superstitious 5-0 score, it's a superstition that I carried over of torture yourself so the team doesn't suffer.
There we go.
Good. Hopefully it'll bring us some good luck.
So because we did that last week, Brad and I had to do it again this week because it worked last week, of course. So I didn't know which superstition was the correct way to go. Let's get on to talking about something other than weird stuff. But one more weird question for you. If you could tell by the backgrounds, Larry is a Sunderland fan. Obviously, they had a great week. I'm a Tottenham fan. We had a great week. Brad doesn't have a background because he's an Everton fan, and there's nothing to celebrate there. Out of the three of us, who do you think had the better week?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm going to say Larry had a great week.
My dude.
Oh.
Yeah. Chris Hager, my guy.
Yeah, it's okay. Tottenham finished like 16th in the league, so they need something,
I think lower than that, right? Or something. I don't know. But hey, we got a trophy. That's all that matters. The first European trophy in forever before I was born.
You guys been suffering for a while, so maybe it's you guys deserved it.
No, they deserve to suffer, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's get into the match of the performance this weekend. Congratulations on a really great match. Man of the match for Orange County. Obviously, it's been a struggle this season. There's been a few bright spots. I was on the side over the last 3 or 4 matches where it's not as bad as what it seems with the score lines, because really, if you look at the performances, those matches all could have been results for Orange County, whether it was a draw or a win. Unfortunately, the ball didn't bounce the right way. Luck happens and maybe some poor finishing. But this week, Orange County figured it out. Sorry, I'm knocking the mic into my face as I'm talking. Orange County figured it out, got some goals. Not quite a shutout yet. We're still waiting for that. What is it about this match this past weekend for you and for the team that just it clicked?
Yeah, I think this weekend, we created some really good chances early on in the game, and we were able to capitalize on those chances. And then basically we scored the goals and we went up, and then we were able to hold the lead for the rest of the game. So that was very important.
What was your favorite moment of the match? Like, what did you like, or what did you see that was amazing?
I just think, I think the last few matches, the last 2 games, we weren't able to score goals. So I think, when I was able to score the first goal and then, Cam on the second goal, I think, the team started to believe again. And we've been playing well. It just haven't been able to score goals and get the results. So, kind of having that belief again, was very good to see from the team. And I thought the team played really well. And also importantly, we defended really well together. And it was really hard for Switchbacks to really create any chances. I don't think they really had any chances too much besides the goal. So yeah, it was a good showing for the boys. And I think that was very important to keep leading us on and hopefully continue this path we're on forward.
And nothing against your goal, nothing against Mo's goal, but my favorite goal of the weekend was Dunbar's goal. I've never seen a bicycle flick. It wasn't, there was no power in that shot. It was like sort of just like a over the shoulder flick, but bicycle style. Have you ever seen Cameron practice that shot, or was that just in the match, just in the flow of things, just creating it?
Yeah, I think, Dunbar's a great player. So I think you never know what he's going to do on the field. But I think just in that moment when he saw Nico head it back across, Dunbar has all the quality in the world to do that. So I think we saw it there. And yeah, that was a great goal from him. I'm sure he's very happy about that.
And really, Chris, how could he not be? It was absolutely fantastic. But, let's go 2 steps back from there. Let's talk about that corner. I mean, you literally could not have put it in a better spot. I mean, you could have walked up and dropped it on top of Nico's head, which, that might have gotten it in a better spot. But is that a set play for the team, or is that just, hey, this is where I'm going to put the ball, somebody be there?
Yeah, it kind of just depends on the play we run. I think in the game we had a lot of set-piece chances to score. I think Vuk missed one earlier in the first half, then Lime had a header, and then Traeger had a header just wide. So I think, the build-up throughout the game, it was coming off a set-piece. And Nico's really good in the air, so I just knew if I put it off his head back post that he was going to put it into a dangerous spot, and he was able to hit it right to Cam, who scored. So you can say it was a play we drew up.
Beautiful, loved it. I'll tell you what. Ray talked about his favorite part of the game, and I'm sure Brad's going to talk about his favorite part of the game. I, of course, have my favorite part of the game, and that is you scoring a goal, and as you're running by, you pointed right at me. You saw me. I got my phone pointed right at you. I got that all on video. I will send you that video, by the way. So that was really cool. It's always nice when you get. Yes, Raymond.
Can I just jump on? I'm going to say Chris was probably pointing at you because he was amazed that the bearded one, Larry, was able to run that fast down the sideline or down the end zone or whatever you want. I forget what it's called on soccer. I'm sorry. But go for it. Go for it, Larry. Finish your question.
Hey, the old fat guy can keep up with them after they have scored and they're just jogging off to the side. At any other time, I'm going to pull a hammy. It's just that's how it's going to work out. So, Chris, I want to ask you a couple of off-the-wall questions, not the normal questions, because we've talked about, your childhood, and we've talked about stuff when you were on the show before and when you thought you were going to be a pro soccer player. But I am curious. USL made a huge announcement recently, just the last month or 6 weeks ago, about promotion relegation. What are your thoughts? What are the guys in the clubhouse's thoughts about this? Do you think it's going to be good for American soccer? Do you think it's going to make the USL more competitive with MLS?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I really like the idea. I played in the beginning of last season in Norway, where there was promotion and relegation. So I think it's very important for the players, the fans, the development of the game. It puts a lot more pressure, into the game, and I think the fans can engage in that. And in other leagues, you see players playing in the second division, and then all of a sudden, like your Sunderland team, they're playing in the Premier League next year, and I think that upward mobility is very good for players, because I think there's a lot of players maybe that are in USL that could play in MLS, or that are in USL League One that could play in USL Championship. So I think it's very important that there's the upward mobility for players and for clubs to move up, and I think it will only help the development of the game and teams get better.
I absolutely couldn't agree with you more. And one thing that I have always said since I started becoming a soccer fan in my 20s is that until America starts doing promotion relegation like the rest of the world, we are never going to catch up with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and a funny story, when I was playing in Norway actually last year, the guys were asking me what do you mean you guys have playoffs in a final and nobody goes up or down? And I was trying to explain it to them. They're like, this is crazy. I don't understand how you guys do this. It's it's soccer in the U.S.
Hey, that's America. We like to try and make up our own stuff when other stuff has been working fine for 140 years. One more from me, Chris. What cleats and shin guards do you wear, and any particular reason why? You like the color? You like the feel?
Yeah, I just wear Nike boots and Nike shin guards. I don't know. I've always wore them in my life, and they just feel comfortable. So I feel like I'm at my best when I'm wearing those two pairs. So yeah, nothing too deep about it, but that's just how I've always been.
Well, if you were at your best on Saturday night, it's obvious that it was all due to Nike and not training and a lifetime of practice.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely not.
fantastic game Saturday night, Chris.
Yeah.
That's as good as we've seen you play. That's as good as we've seen the team play.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to Ray or Brad. I think they probably got some
Well,
questions, and I'm going to stop talking for a while.
Really quick, producer Andy jumped on the stream, I think. So,
yeah. Regarding shin guards, Chris, do you wear those little postage stamp shin guards, or do you wear actual shin guards?
No, I have actual shin guards. I would say, I get fouled a lot, so I'm trying to protect my shins from getting kicked. So yeah, I just wear the
Good
regular
man.
one.
Thank you for setting a good example for my children.
Yeah, some people's shin guards these days are really small, so it's crazy.
Awesome. All right, Chris. I'll ask one good question and one silly question. Good question for you. It's a two-parter. What was, obviously, after a couple rough games, what was the mood like in the locker room heading into this game, and what does a result like this against the defending champions do to the morale in the locker room and the clubhouse?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, in any professional sports, when you're losing and you're not winning games, it's very tough for everyone involved. You obviously you get a little bit more tense, you get a little bit more stressed. But I think the boys and the staff and the upper management never gave up on us, and we never gave up, and we knew like we have the talent in the room to win games. I mean, we were playing really well, we just weren't really getting the results the last few games. So I think we knew like if we put it all together, we would win. And the boys in the locker room never lost out. We knew we have the quality. We knew we had the players to win games and the coaches to win games. So we just kept putting it on the field. And, Saturday was a great result. And like you saw last year, like one result can lead to many. So we got to just keep this momentum going, and hopefully it leads us on and we start a little win streak here. But, all the guys, like I said, were just motivated and ready to get out there and make it right.
Awesome. And then, don't get enough chances to learn about players off the field habits. So what's one hobby you got and your favorite thing to do with it?
I would say, a hobby I have right now is I've been taking up golf probably the last year. So I've used it as a fun time to, play with my family and some friends. And, it's a good avenue to get away from soccer, just to like get your head away from it. It's very peaceful on the course. So I've been enjoying that probably in the last year and working on my golf game. I can't say I'm great, but, hopefully we'll get there one day. But that's definitely a hobby I've been enjoying.
Nobody's great at golf. Tiger Woods just sucks the least out of all of us.
Yeah.
How often do you play with Kyle and the guys?
I've actually never played with Kyle. I play, with the guys, maybe like once every few weeks. We go to the little driving range often just to work, but like during the season, it's tough to get out there too much because you got to take care of the body and rest a bit. So during the season, it's tough, but in the off season, I'll try to be out there, multiple times a week.
And Larry wants me to ask your favorite course.
My favorite course. I play a lot more in San Diego, just because that's where my family is. But of course, I don't know. We played the San Clemente Municipal course, I think it's called. It was pretty nice. Good little gig, and I want to play Pelican Hill, but those prices are a bit outrageous. So maybe we'll get there one.
You're a professional athlete. You can afford that, Chris. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. If you ever happen to play Tejeras Creek out in Rancho Santa Margarita, when you get to hole number 5, just yell my name. That's where I live, so you can find me. I'll come out for you guys a beer. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll have to play there then.
We'll get you the address so you can actually like swing and get the ball aimed right at Larry's window, so you can break a window in his house and he has to fix that. Have you ever done foot golf? Have you ever done foot golf?
I've never done foot golf actually. Maybe like one time when I was younger, like 10, but not in. I already kicked the ball too much, on the training pitch in the game, so try to stay away from that.
Can I say foot golf is deceptively difficult. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's hard to precisely aim a soccer ball to a location when you're kicking it. It's a very difficult thing. I know golf is hard. but foot golf is actually, it sounds easy, but it's really hard, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's not an easy sport for sure.
Well, let me do this because we typically have some fun questions as well. We've already started that, so great. I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want to go music? We're going to do 10 quick response questions. Music or food? You pick the category. Food. All right, we're going to go food. This is courtesy of Google Gemini. This is where I have it create some great this or that questions for us. So here we go. You ready, Chris? First response.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Crunchy raw carrots or soft cooked carrots?
Raw carrots.
All right. Spinach or lettuce in a salad?
Lettuce.
All right. Corn on the cob or mashed potatoes?
Corn on the cob.
Spicy jalapenos or sweet bell peppers?
Sweet bell peppers.
Roasted Brussels sprouts or steamed broccoli?
Roasted Brussels sprouts.
Onions or garlic?
Garlic.
Mushrooms or asparagus?
Asparagus.
Sweet potatoes or plain old russet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes.
All right. Cucumber slices or tomatoes?
Cucumber slices.
All right. Hidden vegetables in a dish, sort of like a smoothie or something like that, or just enjoying straight out raw or vegetables as like the star?
I'll do the smoothie.
The smoothie. Hide those vegetables away and get some good flavor with other stuff, right?
A little green smoothie. Oh, nothing better.
There we go. Awesome. I'm going to ask Brad, Larry, do you have any additional questions for Chris, or can we wrap this up?
Well, in regards to food, I mean, I'm going to guess Chris isn't a vegetarian. So ribeye rare or New York strip medium rare?
Well, no, you got to ask rare or well done.
No, because because I like Chris, and if he says well done, I'm going to stop liking him.
No. I'll take a New York strip medium rare. Perfect.
There we go.
Look at that. It's funny. Me and Cola Santos actually just barbecued some steaks right before I came on the show. So
beautiful. See?
Yeah.
Oh, you could have invited us over. We could have done it live from the Koa and Chris barbecue, man. We could have done a cool barbecue, like cooking with the Orange and Black Soccer Cast session. That's awesome to hear. Hey, Chris, any last messages for the fans regarding the team this year? Maybe, I don't know if anyone's making the trip up to Monterey Bay for this upcoming match, but what do you have to say to any fans that might be making that trip up to Monterey Bay to support y'all?
Yeah. Just say thank you for the support. I know the season hasn't gone exactly the way we want, but I'm very excited for the next few games, and I think we have so much talent and good staff to keep pushing on, and we can do great things this year. So we just got to keep working hard, and I know it will come. So we'll do it. So let's go.
The results haven't been there, but like I said, I've been talking about it the last few episodes. The team looks like they're there, just the results haven't happened. So just keep up the hard work, Chris. Y'all are going to get there. We have faith in you. Yeah, we have faith in what y'all can provide.
You must have motivated the team when you put the 5-0 score for Switchbacks on the channel midweek.
You know what, Chris? Hey, I give you permission. Y'all can we'll send you the clip of my prediction so you all can post it up in the locker room, a picture of me with a 5-0 prediction for the other team. Let's motivate you guys. However we can do that, I will take the brunt of that. And when I show up at the stadium, y'all are allowed to give me dirty looks for my prediction on it. I love it. Do it.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. We appreciate you guys' support, so thank you. So.
Awesome.
I think that will motivate people to not want to join the show.
Hey, you know what? I think, Chris, come on, be honest. Y'all have fun when you come talk with us. We try to make it fun. We don't give you guys the difficult stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a fun interview. You don't get asked in interviews much about what vegetables you like. So yeah. But
we appreciate your time.
Yeah. No,
go ahead, Chris.
There was a lot of people at the game on Saturday. It was a good little crowd, so it was good to see.
Yeah, I think those beer fests tend to bring out some good crowds. And
Yeah.
I think from what my experience, it turns some of those people into fans. I think some of those fans that go strictly for the beer, they actually enjoy the experience at the stadium and then they return. I think I've heard that from plenty of fan that their first experience with the beer fest. Chris, we want to thank you for taking some time to come on the show. We definitely will have you again here in the future. And hopefully it's we'll probably schedule it as we're making that run to the playoffs and hopefully in that run to lift in the USL Championship Cup, because that's what we all want to see. I know you want to see it. I know the players want to see it. Obviously, the fans want to see it. Chris, thank you as always for taking some time to join us, and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll talk soon, okay? See you guys.
Thanks,
awesome. Thanks, Chris. Oh, fun. Hey, fun conversation. Again,
he's struggling.
Chris, I want to see Chris was here in the past, and yeah, we're having some fun with the production today. I don't know what's going on, but it's awesome. Hey, when we have players jumping on, it's fun. We get to learn about them. We've had Chris in the past. That's why we didn't ask the typical questions.
The usuals.
First-time joiners. But we like to have fun, and Chris was a great guest, and we appreciate it. And again, I'm going to say this, and I think Brad was a little bit more on the not so positive side of this team, but I see good things for this team. I think this team is poised to make a good run. I'm not worried about what I've seen on the pitch. Yes, the results weren't there over the last 6 weeks or whatever, but this team is looking like they are ready and they can compete. So I'm looking forward to it. All right. This is fun. I told you all this was going to be a fun episode because we're all in good moods whenever your team wins 3-1. And then for people like Larry and myself, there were additional victories on the side. We're in great moods. You're going to hear great stuff from us.
Let me tell you a true story here about this past weekend. You're talking about Beer Fest, bringing people in who are, maybe they're a soccer fan, maybe they're not a soccer fan. On my Facebook page, I posted up a photograph or a video, something from the game that I did or I was in, and a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, actually one of the groomsmen from my first wedding 23 years ago, he messaged me and said, yeah, Larry, I didn't see you on TV, but I did see you at the game. And he had a clip from up in the stands from Mo's goal. And he's probably sitting, I think he's right in section 7. So he's only maybe 10 or 15 rows up above where Carrie's sitting. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you seek me out? We haven't seen each other in, several years. He goes, oh, don't worry, I'll be back. I had a great time and I loved it. So here's a guy who's a casual. He's not particularly a soccer fan, but he was there and he had a great time. And he was there for Beer Fest. Now he's going to be coming back for the soccer.
Hey, that's the beauty of those beer fests. Like I said, you get fans that come for the beer and they fall in love with the experience of the match. And they might not even be soccer fans. They might not, care too much about the sport. But this is what Orange County Soccer Club, the CLC, and the season ticket holders, everyone at that stadium, they create such a great experience. It's such a neat thing to see. And I love that we have this community, a soccer community at Championship Soccer Stadium for Orange County Soccer Club, because there's people that come for the experience. Maybe the soccer, maybe the experience at the stadium, maybe because it's just a great deal for families. Because obviously, if you have a family of 4, if you go to any other professional sport, you're dropping at least $200, if not more, when you talk about tickets, parking, food. At Championship Soccer Stadium, you get a good deal. I have my neighbor, literally my next door neighbor, who I introduced to this team a couple years back, and he's gone to more matches this season than I have at Championship Soccer Stadium, which is not a lot because I haven't been there much. But I apologize for that, everyone. But he loves the team, and every time I see him, we talk about the team. We talk about how the team's doing and all that stuff. So it's just the experience. It's amazing. Producer Andy's jumping on here. What do you got?
Yeah, when you commented about kind of the family pricing, I saw something on social media yesterday, I think, that was a 4 general admission tickets, and then 2 pizzas from Pizza 120 for, I think it was $50. And the pizzas on their own are like $17, I think, it's like a 12-inch pizza, which, by the way, the pizza is awesome. But like 2 pizzas alone, I mean, that's almost $30 right there, right? Am I doing that math? $34, whatever it is. And
Sounds
then
about right.
and then plus the tickets. I mean, you're basically getting a free pizza with 4 tickets. So look out on social media for those deals. It's worth it.
Well, and I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to say, yeah, I have another friend that goes to matches, and she's like, I have these like buy one get one free. I don't know if you can use them at the stadium, but maybe you have to go to the restaurant. But from Taqueria Oe, they give out great things at the matches. It's a great value for everyone. So if you need something to do with your friends and family, obviously, if you're listening to the show, you probably know that. But I'm sure producer Annie's going to take a clip of this and be like, hey, let's throw this out on social and share this with the world, right? If you need value and you want something to do with your family, there's no better value for 2 hours than going and watching an Orange and Black Soccer House match with your family. It's going to be cheaper than taking your family to the movies. I guarantee you it'll be cheaper than going to the movies, because the movies are like, what, $20 a ticket these days, and you're going to buy popcorn and soda and candy and all that stuff. You're easily spending over $100 at the movie theater. You get a great deal at Orange County Soccer Club. They don't pay us to say this. We don't get any money from the club. We love it, and we know it, and we experience it. So, yeah.
And if you show up, you get to see me run.
That's worth the price of admission right there. Watching
Absolutely.
the bearded one run to
Yes.
get the highlight of the celebration.
Yes.
Let's talk about any other soccer stuff that anyone wants to bring up before we wrap things up. Brad, you've been quiet for a while, so I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah, so at the start of the show, you talked about a parents versus kids game. And I do have to ask, what position did you play? And what was your final stat line look like there?
So, okay, parents versus kids. And for those that didn't know, I don't know if I shared last week, but I actually sliced open this finger. It's healing. It's scabbing up right now. I sliced it up. So my finger was wrapped up, and I was going easy on it because I didn't want it to potentially open back up. No stitches, but still a pretty good cut. I played goalie to start, which was probably dumb of me with an injured finger, and a big goal with kids that know how to blast the ball. And then the second part of the match, I played up top, and I was making some good assists, and I scored, I think, 1 goal. We won 15-4. I got an assist, a goal, and a good amount of saves. Obviously, I'm not going to try and like injure the players as I'm playing, so I'm not going as a goalie like in there just grabbing the ball. But because they're 13 years old, and I want them to be able to win in the future in their actual games. So there was my stat line, Brad. It was a 15-14 victory. We won. I made some saves. I got an assist. I got a goal. It was for fun. It was awesome. Because Brad really wants to know this, I'm going to share the video with you, Brad, so you can watch it. We have it on video. Random thought. Oh, wait. Sorry. Before we go, let's do random thoughts. We haven't done this in a while. Random thoughts. If you don't have one, just say, I don't have one. Larry.
I'm Sunderland till I die.
Awesome. Brad.
I was promised a video, and now I wait.
You will get the video. And my random thought, hey, congratulations to Tottenham. In honor of Tottenham captain and longtime representative Heung-min Son, I actually got myself a Korean beer called Snow. If you've ever tried it, let me know your thoughts. But it's actually not bad for a beer in a green bottle from far away. It actually is. There's no bite to it. It's not that bitter. It's actually pretty smooth, pretty good. All right, what did we learn in this episode, Brad?
I learned I have a unhealthy relationship with Malort.
There we go, Larry. What did you learn?
I learned that Chris Haggard does not like his steaks well done, so him and I can remain friends.
There we go. What did I learn? I learned that I'm not getting love from Chris when I wear my Tottenham jersey at the stadium. He'll probably like walk away from me, not want to talk to me. Apparently, he's a gooner. And yay, cool. This like I said, fun episode tonight. I want to thank everyone that watched live. Again, if you don't watch live, if you only listen to the podcast version of this, we are live every Tuesday at 8:00. What you hear on the podcast is what you will see live. The cool thing with watching live is you also can chat with us. We will read your chats. We will look at your chats. We will interact with your chats sometimes. We didn't do it so much this episode, but we will do that. And we promise you, we will pay attention to y'all. Maddie King is always on the chats talking about stuff. Apparently Maddie likes Wendy. So you got to bring Wendy on more often, Brad. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, share our podcast. our social medias. We appreciate the love. Help us grow that connection with people, and we definitely appreciate that. For Brad, for Larry, our producer Andy, our guest on this episode, which was Noah, the Monterey Bay fan and knowledgeable person, Chris Hagart from Orange County Soccer Club. Hey, this has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.